There are those in the Alliance who fear Deathworld species. They'll argue your 2-week 7 brought the gauntlet run. Every recruit knew about it. The legendary 12-hour obstacle course that combined every challenge they'd faced so far into one brutal evolution. No one had completed it in under 15 hours in over a decade. Hana stood at the starting line with 50 other recruits. Half of the original 200 had already dropped out. Those who remained were lean, hard, their eyes showing the kind of determination that only came from surviving the impossible. Instructor Vex addressed them from his platform. The gauntlet tests everything: strength, endurance, intelligence, adaptability. Most of you will not finish. Those who do will be changed forever. Any questions? Silence, then begin. The first section was a 20-kilometer run through varied gravity fields. One moment you were running in 0.8 G, the next in 1.5. Your body had to constantly adjust, recalculating every step. Recruits stumbled, fell, crashed into walls as the gravity shifted. Hana found a rhythm. She'd grown up on 0.98 G, trained in 1.2 G for weeks now. Her body understood gravity changes instinctively. When it dropped, she lengthened her stride. When it increased, she shortened and leaned forward. She finished the section in the top 15. The second section was the maze. A 3-dimensional puzzle filled with dead ends, false paths, and obstacles. You had to navigate using only a basic compass and your wits. No map, no guide, just problem-solving under pressure. Hana approached it like mountain navigation. She marked her path, eliminated dead ends systematically, and kept track of her elevation changes. Where other recruits panicked and rushed, she moved with patient efficiency. Hour 4, and she emerged from the maze ahead of all but 3 recruits. The third section was water survival. A massive pool with artificial currents, waves, and underwater obstacles. You had to swim 2 kilometers while carrying your full pack. Species with natural aquatic advantages dominated here, but Hana had grown up on a peninsula nation. Korean Marines spent weeks training in the ocean, learning to respect water as both friend and enemy. She stripped off excess weight, sealed her essentials in waterproof bags, and entered the water with clean, efficient strokes. The current tried to drag her under. She used it instead, riding it when it went her direction, moving to calmer waters when it fought her. By hour 6, she'd completed the swim section. Hour 8 brought the breaking wall. A sheer 50-meter climb with minimal handholds. Most species used all 4 limbs or natural climbing adaptations. Some had suction cups, others had claws. Humans had nothing but grip strength and determination. Hana studied the wall, identifying the route. Korean Marines did a lot of rock climbing. The mountains demanded it. She'd learned to read stone, to trust her hands, to push through the burning in her arms that said she couldn't go higher. She started climbing. Halfway up, her arms were screaming. She could feel her fingers slipping, her shoulders shaking with fatigue. A Velkari recruit passed her using all 4 arms with ease. A Threxian, massive and powerful, climbed like the wall was stairs. Hana focused on breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth, one handhold at a time. Don't look down, don't look up, just climb. At 40 meters, she passed a recruit who'd frozen in fear. Keep moving, she said calmly. You're almost there. I can't, you can. Just one more move, then another. Don't think about the top, think about the next hold. The recruit nodded and started moving again. Hana reached the top at hour 10. Her hands were bleeding, her arms felt like dead weight, but she'd made it. The final section was a simple 10-kilometer run. Flat ground, no obstacles, just you and the distance. After everything else, it should have been easy. It wasn't. Every muscle in Hana's body was protesting. Her legs felt like they were made of stone. Her breathing was ragged, her vision slightly blurred from exhaustion. Around her, other recruits were collapsing, being pulled from the course by medical drones. She thought about Jinwoo, broken in the recovery bay. She thought about the 47 humans who'd failed before her. She thought about Captain Doran's certainty that she would fail too. She thought about Earth, about typhoons that didn't care if you were tired, about mountains that didn't stop being steep because you hurt, about winters that would kill you regardless of how much you wanted to rest. Earth didn't accept excuses. It just was. You adapted or you died. Hana kept running. Hour 11, 47 minutes. She crossed the finish line. Instructor Vex was waiting, his data display already showing her results. New Academy record, he said, and there was genuine respect in his voice. 11 hours, 47 minutes. The previous record was 12 hours, 15 minutes. Hana nodded, too exhausted to speak. How do you feel? Vex asked. She took a breath, assessing her body. Tired, yes. Sore, absolutely. But nothing broken, nothing damaged beyond recovery. Ready for the next evolution, drill instructor? Vex's eyes widened slightly. You just broke an academy record, Kim. You can admit fatigue. Hana rolled her neck to the side and the joints cracked audibly. Pop, 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 releasing tension, easing stiffness. It was a habit she'd had since childhood, something every human did without thinking. Vex recoiled, his forearms pulling back defensively. Your skeletal structure is failing. Hana blinked in confusion. Sir? Your bones are cracking. You've pushed too hard. Medical. Vex was already signaling for assistance. Drill instructor, I'm fine. I just cracked my neck. Cracked your neck? Vex stared at her. You deliberately damaged your own skeleton? Understanding dawned. No, sir. It's just releasing pressure in the joints. It doesn't damage anything. Humans do it all the time. Medical Officer Suji arrived, another human, and she started laughing when she saw what was happening. Instructor Vex, she's fine. Joint cracking is a normal human behavior. It's just gas bubbles releasing from the synovial fluid. Vex looked between them. You're telling me that sound, that clearly structural failure sound, is normal? Completely normal, sir, Suji confirmed. Watch. She cracked her own knuckles, producing a series of pops. Vex made a sound that might have been distress. Your species deliberately triggers that response. It feels good, sir, Hana said. Releases tension, especially after long periods of holding the same position or doing repetitive movement. You just set an academy record after 12 hours of continuous extreme physical exertion, Vex said slowly. And your response is to crack your joints and say you're ready for more. Yes, drill instructor. Vex was silent for a long moment. Then he made several notes on his display. Dismissed, Kim. Get food and rest. As Hana walked to the mess hall, she noticed the stairs again. But these were different from before. Not skeptical or hostile, something closer to awe or fear. Mora found her at dinner. Everyone's talking about you. They're calling you the woman who broke the gauntlet. I just ran the course. You set an academy record. Do you understand how impossible that is? Most species can't even finish. You finished and made it look easy. It wasn't easy. Then why did you crack your neck like you were bored? Mora's antennae were quivering with emotion. Half the recruits think you're some kind of super soldier. The other half think you're insane. Hana sipped her water. I'm just a Marine. This is what we do, but word spread. By the next morning, everyone knew about the human recruit who'd shattered records and then casually popped her joints like it was nothing. She turned her neck became a saying among recruits, meaning to brush off something difficult as if it were routine. In the following days, Hana noticed a shift. Recruits sought her out for advice. They watched how she moved, how she prepared, how she approached each challenge. Kira, once hostile, now studied Hana like a puzzle to be solved. How do you do it? Kira asked one evening. They were in the training yard practicing combat drills. How do you make everything look so manageable? I don't make it look like anything. I just do what needs doing. But you're never scared, never overwhelmed. Hana paused. I'm scared every day. Overwhelmed most days. But fear doesn't change what needs to be done. So I feel it and do the task anyway. Earth taught you that? Earth didn't give me a choice. You can't negotiate with a typhoon. Can't bargain with winter. You either survive or you don't. There's a clarity in that. Kira was quiet for a moment. I misjudged humans. Misjudged you. I apologize. Apology accepted. Now let's run this drill again. Your third arm drops too low on the guard position. In his office, Instructor Vex was compiling a report for Commandant Thel Rix. It included Hana's performance data, her biological readings, and his observations about human capabilities. Subject shows extraordinary endurance despite coming from standard gravity world, he wrote. Hypothesis. Earth's environmental chaos has created adaptive capabilities superior to specialized evolution. Recommendation. Increase human recruitment quotas. Potential for special operations roles. He paused, then added one more line. Note. Human joint cracking response initially mistaken for structural failure. Recommend cross-species medical briefing on human physiology to prevent future confusion. In the barracks that night, Hana lay in her bunk, staring at the ceiling. 11 hours, 47 minutes. A record that would have her name in the Academy's history, but it wasn't about the record. It was about proving that humans belonged here. That Earth. Week 3 arrived with a temperature drop. Literally. The training grounds transformed overnight into a frozen wasteland, temperature gauges reading -40 Celsius. Recruits gathered in the equipment bay, shivering despite their thermal suits. "Listen up!" Instructor Vex stood at the front, seemingly unbothered by the cold despite wearing less gear than anyone else. "This is your cold weather survival evolution. 72 hours in sub-zero temperatures. You'll build shelter, find water, maintain body heat. Those who can't will be extracted," he gestured to the equipment. "Full thermal gear is available. Heated suits, insulated boots, thermal gloves. Take what you need." The recruits rushed forward, grabbing every piece of cold weather gear they could carry. Hana walked to the equipment slowly, examining what was available. She picked up a thermal suit and turned it over, checking the rating. "Good for -60 Celsius, the label said. She put it back. "Kim." Vex appeared beside her. "You're not taking thermal gear?" "I'll take a basic jacket and gloves, drill instructor." "The full suit is too much." "Too much." Vex's voice was flat. "Elaborate. My body needs to adapt to the temperature. If I'm too warm, I'll start sweating. Then when the suit fails or I have to remove it, the moisture will freeze and kill me faster. Better to stay cold and dry." Vex checked his data display. "Your file says you trained in -50 Celsius conditions." "Yes, drill instructor. The Taybake Mountains in winter. 10 days with basic gear." "Basic gear. Standard jacket, gloves, boots. We made shelters from snow and pine branches. Melted ice for water. Kept moving to stay warm." Vex studied her for a long moment. "You're aware that most species in this class come from temperature-controlled environments? They've never experienced weather extremes." "I understand, drill instructor." "Then you should also understand that showing them up won't make you popular." Hana met his eyes. "I'm not here to be popular, drill instructor. I'm here to graduate." Something like approval crossed Vex's reptilian face. "Carry on then." The cold hit like a physical force when they entered the training ground. Recruits gasped, stumbling in the sudden temperature drop. Their breath misted in the air, crystallizing instantly. Several collapsed immediately, overwhelmed by the shock. Hana breathed deeply, feeling the cold burn in her lungs. It was familiar, almost welcoming. Cold meant focus. Cold meant you had to keep moving or die. "Simple rules, easy to follow, scatter," Vex commanded. "Find your ground and establish shelter. Clock starts now." The recruits dispersed, many of them running blindly, desperate to escape the cold. Hana walked calmly, assessing the terrain. She found a spot near a rock formation that would block the wind and started working. First, shelter. She used the rocks as a base and began piling snow into blocks, packing them tight. It was work she'd done dozens of times. Snow was good insulation if you used it right. The shelter took shape quickly, a small dome with a low entrance to trap heat. "Hana," Mora appeared, antennae drooping with cold. "I can't feel my legs. Everything's numb." "Get in the shelter," Hana said, not stopping her work. "Quick," Mora crawled inside. Hana followed, sealing the entrance with more snow. Inside, the temperature was still cold, but the wind was gone. That made all the difference. "You have to move," Hana told Mora. "Flex your legs, get circulation going. Don't sit still or you'll freeze." "How do you know this?" "Korean winter training. We learned the hard way." Hana started doing small exercises, keeping her blood flowing. Cold is just another enemy. You learn its rules and you survive. Over the next hour, 3 more recruits found their shelter. Hana helped each one, showing them how to stay warm through movement, how to layer clothing properly, how to recognize the signs of hypothermia. They huddled together, sharing body heat, following her instructions. Outside, the temperature kept dropping. -45, -48. Medical drones flew constantly, extracting recruits who'd failed to maintain body temperature. Kira appeared on the second day, barely conscious. Her thermal suit had malfunctioned, and her forearms were turning blue. Hana pulled her inside and wrapped her in every spare piece of fabric they had. "Why?" Kira whispered through chattering teeth. "Why help me? I was cruel to you." "Because that's what you do," Hana said simply. "Someone needs help, you help them. No other reason needed." By the third day, nearly 40% of recruits had been extracted. Those who remained were changed harder somehow. They'd faced something that wanted to kill them and survived. When the evolution ended, Instructor Vex gathered the survivors. "Acceptable performance." Kim front and center. Hana stepped forward. "You completed the evolution with minimal gear. maintained a shelter that housed 5 recruits, and showed 0 signs of hypothermia or cold stress. Explain. Earth is a seasonal world, drill instructor. Where I'm from, winter temperatures regularly drop to -30 or 40. Summer goes above 40 Celsius. We learn to handle both extremes or we don't survive. Vex tapped his display. I've been researching Earth since Hell Week. Your planet has extreme temperature variance, yes, but you also have hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, drought, flood. He looked up. Your world is classified as a Class 12 death world. The assembled recruits gasped. Even Hana was surprised. I didn't know that, drill instructor. No, you wouldn't. Humans don't think of your planet as unusual because you evolved there. But by Alliance standards, Earth shouldn't support intelligent life. It's too chaotic, too hostile, too random. Vex's voice grew quieter.
Yet you not only survive there, you thrive.
You've built cities in earthquake zones. You live through hurricane seasons. You farm in areas prone to drought. He addressed the group now. This is why we watch Kim so closely. Not because she's strong. Many species are strong. But because she's adapted to survive chaos. And chaos is what war looks like. The words hung in the cold air. Heat endurance evolution begins tomorrow. Vex continued. 60 degrees Celsius for 72 hours. Prepare accordingly. Dismissed. That night, a new recruit arrived. Jinwoo, another Korean, sent to replace a candidate who'd dropped out. He found Hana in the mess hall and sat across from her. You're her, he said. The one everyone's talking about. Just trying to get through training. They're saying you're making it look easy, that you barely break a sweat. Hana shook her head. It's not easy. It's just familiar. Earth already taught me these lessons. Can you teach me? I don't want to fail like the others. Hana looked at him, seeing the hope in his eyes. I can try. But Jinwoo, the physical stuff isn't why humans fail here. We're strong enough. It's the mental part. The structure, the rules, the constant pressure. I can handle pressure, can you? Because Earth's pressure is random. A typhoon doesn't care if you're ready. An earthquake doesn't wait for you to prepare. Here everything is scheduled, controlled, measured. For some people, that's harder. The heat evolution proved her right. 60 degrees Celsius in a desert simulation. The heat was crushing, suffocating. Water was rationed, shade was scarce. Recruits had to complete navigation exercises while managing their body temperature. Hana drew on memories of summer training. Korean summers could hit 40 degrees with crushing humidity. The Marines had taught her to ration water, to move during cooler hours, to recognize heat exhaustion before it became heat stroke. She completed the evolution with water to spare. Others weren't so fortunate. Jinwoo lasted 48 hours before medical extracted him. Hana visited him in the recovery bay. I'm sorry, he said, looking broken. I thought I could do it. You lasted longer than most, but not long enough. He stared at the ceiling. I don't understand how you do it. The heat, the cold, the constant grinding. Don't you want to quit? Every day, Hana admitted. But wanting to quit and actually quitting are different things. Earth taught me that. When you're in a blizzard and you want to give up, you can't. There's no quit button in nature. You either keep moving or you die. So you just ignore the pain? No, I feel it. But I don't let it make my decisions. Hana stood. Get better, Jinwoo. Maybe try again next cycle. But work on your mental game first. That's what breaks us here. After Jinwoo left, Hana was called to Commandant Thelrix's office. The Zentari commander was massive, easily 4 meters tall with crystalline skin that refracted light into rainbows. Sit, Lieutenant Kim. I'm not a lieutenant, sir. Just a recruit. Yet. Thelrix folded his massive hands. I've been reviewing your performance. It's unprecedented. You're outperforming recruits from heavy gravity worlds, surviving extreme environments better than species evolved for those conditions. I need to understand why. Hana thought about how to explain Earth to someone who'd never been there. Sir, Earth doesn't train us. Earth tries to kill us. Every season brings new dangers. Every year, thousands die from natural disasters. We don't have environmental stability like most Alliance worlds. We have chaos. And chaos made you strong. Chaos made us adaptable, sir. We can't specialize in one environment because Earth has all of them. We have to be ready for anything. Thelrix was silent for a long moment. I'm recommending Earth for expanded recruitment. Your performance has proven that humans have valuable qualities. Adaptability, endurance, the ability to function in hostile environments. Thank you, sir. Don't thank me yet. This also means increased scrutiny. The rain hammered against the windows of the Seoul Spaceport Recruitment Center. Inside, Hana Kim sat perfectly still in a chair that wasn't made for humans. Her boots were polished to a mirror shine, her posture straight despite the uncomfortable angle of the alien furniture. She'd been waiting for 2 hours, but her expression hadn't changed once. Captain Doran finally emerged from his office, his blue-scaled face showing something that might have been irritation. The Velkari officer was tall, nearly 3 meters, with 4 arms and eyes that could see in spectrums humans couldn't imagine. He carried a data tablet that looked tiny in his massive hands. "Candidate Kim," he said, his voice translator turning his hisses into flat, emotionless words. "Please come in." Hana stood and followed him. The office was sparse and cold, decorated with commendations from a dozen worlds. Behind Doran's desk hung the symbol of the Galactic Alliance Military Academy, a star surrounded by interlocking rings representing unity among species. Doran gestured to another chair. Hana sat folding her hands in her lap. "I will be direct with you," Doran said, manipulating his tablet with 2 hands while the other 2 rested on his desk. "Earth has sent 47 candidates to Valoris Prime Academy. 47 have failed. The average time before dropout is 3.2 weeks. The longest any human has lasted is 7 weeks. Hana nodded once. "I'm aware of the statistics, sir. Are you?" Doran's secondary eyelids blinked. "Do you understand why they fail? It's not the physical requirements. High-gravity worlders like yourselves have the strength. It's the mental fortitude, the isolation, the pressure. Your species breaks under psychological strain. Permission to speak freely, sir?" Doran made a gesture that might have been a shrug. "Granted. Those recruits were civilians, athletes, scientists, people who volunteered because they wanted adventure." Hana's voice was calm, measured. "I'm a Marine. I've already been broken. There's nothing left to break." Something changed in Doran's posture. He leaned forward, studying her with new interest. "You served in Earth's Korean Marine Corps." "Yes, sir. 5 years. Mountain Warfare Division." Doran tapped his tablet, pulling up her file. His eyes moved rapidly across the screen, and Hana watched as his expression shifted from skepticism to something else. "Surprise, maybe, or concern. You survived winter training in the Taebaek Mountains," he said slowly. "Temperatures down to -50°C. No shelter for 10 days. Hostile terrain exercises. Standard training, sir." "Standard." Doran set down the tablet. "Candidate Kim, do you know what temperature we consider extreme cold in Alliance training?" "No, sir. -20°C. For 48 hours. With full environmental suits." He pointed at her file. "You did -50 for 10 days with only basic gear." Hana didn't respond. It hadn't seemed worth mentioning. Doran stood and walked to his window, looking out at the rain. "I've been recruitment officer for Earth for 3 years. Every candidate who sits in that chair tells me they're different. They're stronger. They're ready." He turned back to her. "Then they arrive at Valoris Prime and the reality breaks them. The gravity there is enhanced to 1.2 G for training purposes. Higher than Earth standard." "I understand, sir. Do you?" Doran's voice was sharp now. "The first week they put you through a 50-kilometer march in that gravity. Full combat load. Most species lose 30% of their recruits in that week alone. Humans lose more? May I ask a question, sir?" "Go ahead. What's the pack weight?" Doran checked his tablet. 30 kilograms standard." Hana almost smiled but caught herself. 30 kilograms was less than her usual training load. The Korean Marines believed in overtraining. "If you could handle 40 kilograms, 30 felt light." "I can manage that, sir." Doran studied her for a long moment. Then he touched something on his desk and a hologram appeared between them. It showed the academy, a massive station orbiting a blue giant star. Training grounds spread across multiple levels, each designed to simulate different planetary conditions. "This is Valoris Prime," Doran said. 15,000 recruits at any given time. 200 species represented. The finest military academy in the known galaxy. He zoomed in on one section. "This is where you'll live, where you'll train, where you'll probably fail. With respect, sir, I don't plan to fail. Neither did the other 47. Doran collapsed the hologram. "But I'll approve your transfer. Ambassador Park has been insistent that we keep trying. He believes Earth has something to offer the Alliance." "The ambassador is a good man, sir." "He's desperate," Doran corrected. "Earth is the newest member of the Alliance. Only 15 years since first contact. Your planet wants to prove its worth, to show you belong among civilized worlds. He fixed her with all four eyes. The problem is, every failure reinforces the belief that humans are too primitive, too fragile, too chaotic for Alliance military standards. Hana's jaw tightened slightly. It was the only sign of emotion she'd shown. I won't fail, sir. You say that now. Doran returned to his desk and pressed his primary hand to a scanner. Transfer approved. You ship out in 3 days. Use that time to say goodbye to your family. Most recruits who wash out come back different, broken. Make sure your goodbyes count. Hana stood and saluted, crisp and sharp. Thank you, sir. As she turned to leave, Doran spoke again. Candidate Kim, one more thing. She stopped, looking back. Why do this? Why volunteer for something that has destroyed every human who tried? Hana was quiet for a moment, thinking about the question. Finally, she said, because someone has to succeed eventually. Why not me? She left the office before Doran could respond. 3 days later, Hana stood in the boarding area of Seoul Spaceport, a small duffel bag at her feet. Ambassador Park had come to see her off, along with a small crowd of military officials and press. They wanted a ceremony, but Hana had requested it be kept simple. Make us proud, Ambassador Park said, shaking her hand. His grip was firm, his eyes hopeful. I'll do my best, sir. I know you will. He lowered his voice. Between you and me, Captain Doran sent a message. He said you're different from the others. Said there's something about you that reminds him of career soldiers from his own world. That's kind of him, sir. Hana. The ambassador's formality dropped for a moment. The whole planet is watching. Earth needs this. We need to show the galaxy that we belong. The weight of that statement settled on her shoulders, but Hana's expression didn't change. I understand, sir. I won't let Earth down. She picked up her duffel and walked toward the transport ship. Behind her, cameras flashed and officials whispered. She didn't look back. There was no point. The only direction that mattered was forward. As the transport lifted off, breaking through Earth's atmosphere, Hana looked down at her homeworld. From space it looked peaceful, blue and green and beautiful. No one could see the typhoons brewing over the Pacific, the earthquakes waiting along fault lines, the winters that could freeze flesh in minutes. Earth looked gentle from up here. It was the biggest lie in the galaxy. Hana smiled to herself and opened the Academy manual. She had a lot to learn, and only 3 weeks of travel time to learn it. The transport's artificial gravity was set to 1G, Earth standard. It felt light, easy. She wondered what 1.2G would feel like. Probably not much different. The stars stretched ahead, and Hana read on, preparing for a challenge the galaxy thought would break her. They didn't understand yet. Earth had already done its worst to her. Everything after this was just practice. Valoris Prime was bigger than Hana had imagined. The station sprawled across space like a small city, its training grounds visible through massive transparent sections. As the transport docked, she saw recruits running obstacle courses in zero gravity, others practicing combat in various atmospheric conditions. The docking bay was chaos. 200 recruits from 40 different species, all arriving for the same training cycle. Hana stepped off the transport and immediately felt the difference. The gravity here was heavier, pulling at her shoulders and legs. 1.2G, just like Captain Doran had warned. It felt like wearing a heavy coat. Noticeable but manageable. Around her, other recruits were already struggling. A tall, thin creature with 6 legs stumbled and nearly fell. 2 furry beings clutched the walls, breathing hard. They'd come from low-gravity worlds, Hana realized. For them, this was crushing. Move. Move, move! A voice bellowed across the bay. You have 5 minutes to reach orientation hall. Anyone late starts with demerits. Hana grabbed her duffel and started walking. Not running. Walking at a steady pace that ate up distance without wasting energy. Other recruits sprinted past her, panicking. She ignored them. 5 minutes was plenty of time. She found the orientation hall with 2 minutes to spare. Inside, recruits were scattered across a space designed like an amphitheater. Hana chose a seat near the back and set her duffel down. You're human. The voice came from beside her. Hana turned to see an insectoid creature with multiple eyes and delicate antennae. I'm Mora, Anthian species. You're the first human I've met. Hana. Nice to meet you. Is it true your planet tried to kill everyone who lives there? Hana blinked. Where did you hear that? The briefing materials. They said Earth was classified as hostile environment. Extreme weather, dangerous animals, unstable geology. Mora's antennae twitched with curiosity. Is that real? I guess so. I never thought about it much. It's just home. Before Mora could respond, the lights dimmed. A massive figure stepped onto the central platform. 4 arms, scaled skin like red leather, eyes that gleamed with something predatory. A Kalthari, Hana remembered from her studies. Warrior species evolved from pack hunters. I am drill instructor Vex, the figure announced, voice booming without any need for amplification. For the next 16 weeks I own you. Your sleep, your food, your every breath belongs to me. Some of you will quit. Most of you will fail. A few might survive to graduate. Vex began pacing, his forearms gesturing as he spoke. This week is Hell Week. 7 days of continuous training designed to separate the strong from the weak. 30% of you will not see day 8. Questions? Silence filled the hall. Good. Tonight you sleep. Tomorrow at 0500 Hell Week begins. Dismissed. The recruits filed out, many of them already looking nervous. Hana followed the crowd to the barracks, a long room filled with bunks designed to accommodate various body types. She found one that fit her reasonably well and started unpacking. Hana Kim. Another voice, this one sharp and unfriendly. Hana turned to see a Velkari female, similar species to Captain Doran but younger. I'm Kira. I looked up Earth's record. 47 failures. Why do your people keep trying? Because we don't give up. Kira laughed, a hissing sound. Courage without capability is just stupidity. You'll wash out like the rest. Hana didn't respond. There was nothing to say that would change Kira's mind. Only results mattered. That night Hana barely slept. Not from nerves, but from habit. Marines learned to sleep light, ready to wake at any moment. Around her, other recruits snored, whispered, or lay awake with fear. At 0430, Hana was already awake and dressed when the alarm blared. Rise and shine. Vex's voice crashed through the barracks speakers. Formation in 10 minutes. Full combat gear. The barracks exploded into activity. Recruits scrambled for their equipment, colliding with each other, dropping things. Hana moved efficiently through the chaos, strapping on her gear with practiced motions. Combat vest, helmet, pack, weapon. Everything secured and balanced. She was third in line at the formation ground. Vex walked down the line, inspecting each recruit. When he reached Hana, he stopped. Human. Yes, drill instructor. How long did it take you to gear up? 6 minutes, drill instructor. Alliance standard is 8. Vex's eyes narrowed. You military? Korean Marines, drill instructor. Something flickered across Vex's face. Respect, maybe. Or just recognition of a fellow soldier. Good. Maybe you'll last longer than the others. He moved on. The march began at 0600 sharp. 50 kilometers through varied terrain, all inside the station's massive training grounds. The route took them through desert simulations, frozen tundra, dense forest, and urban rubble. All of it under 1.2 G gravity. Within the first hour, recruits began falling behind. A small furred creature collapsed after 10 kilometers. Medical drones swooped in to extract them. 2 more dropped out at the 15-kilometer mark. Hana kept her pace steady. The weight of her pack was familiar, comfortable even. The gravity felt heavy but not unbearable. In the Korean Marines, they'd done 60-kilometer marches in the mountains. Where altitude made breathing hard and cold made every step painful. This was easier. At the 20-kilometer mark, she passed Kira. The Velkari was stumbling, her forearms shaking with effort. She stared at Hana with disbelief. How? Kira gasped. How are you not tired? Hana didn't break stride. I am tired. I'm just used to it. By kilometer 30, half the recruits had dropped out. Those who remained were moving slowly, mechanically, driven by pure determination. Hana was in the front group now, keeping pace with recruits from heavy-gravity worlds who should have had the advantage. Instructor Vex ran alongside them on a hover platform, watching with keen interest. He kept looking at Hana, checking some kind of data display. The final stretch was a 10-kilometer uphill climb. Artificial terrain that rose at a steep angle, simulating a mountain approach. Recruits who'd seemed strong earlier began to crack. Their legs gave out. Their breathing became ragged. Hana adjusted her stride, leaning into the incline. She'd done this before. Korean mountains were brutal, and Marine training made sure you learned to love them, or at least survive them. She crossed the finish line at 11 hours, 23 minutes. Top 10% of those who'd completed the march. Vex was waiting at the finish. Kim. Hana stopped, breathing hard but still standing straight. Yes, drill instructor. How do you feel? Ready for the next evolution, drill instructor? Vex stared at her for a long moment. Then he tapped his data display and brought up something that made his eyes widen slightly. You're showing lower heart rate than recruits from worlds with 1.5 G gravity. Your muscle stress indicators are minimal. Either my sensors are malfunctioning or you're barely pushing your limits. The latter, drill instructor. This is lighter than my training load on Earth. Lighter. Vex said it like he was tasting a strange word. Your homeworld's gravity is 0.98 G, lower than here. Yes, drill instructor. But our training loads account for that. We overtrain so operations feel easy. Overtrain. Vex looked back at his display. What weight do you usually carry? 40 kilograms, drill instructor. Sometimes more for long-range patrol. Vex was silent for several seconds. Then he made a note on his display. Dismissed, Kim. Get food and rest. Tomorrow is worse. As Hana walked to the mess hall, Mora caught up with her. The Anthian was limping, her carapace cracked in several places from the stress. You saved my life out there, Mora said. Hana frowned. I didn't do anything. At kilometer 40, I was ready to quit. Couldn't breathe, couldn't think. You grabbed my pack and redistributed the weight. Showed me how to adjust my stride. I would have dropped out without that. Hana shrugged. Marines help each other. That's just normal. Normal. Mora laughed, pained but genuine. Hana, nothing about you is normal. The instructors are already talking about you. They've never seen a human perform like this. In the mess hall, Hana noticed the stares. Recruits from dozens of species watched her as she got food. Some looked amazed. Others looked afraid. Kira sat in a corner, her forearms wrapped around herself, staring at nothing. Hana ate quickly and efficiently, refueling her body. Tomorrow would be worse, Vex had said. She believed him. Hell Week was just starting, but as she lay in her bunk that night, Hana felt calm. The day had been hard, yes. Long and painful and exhausting, but it had been structured, controlled. There were rules here, expectations, a clear path forward. Earth didn't give you any of that. Earth threw typhoons at you without warning, earthquakes that lasted seconds but destroyed everything. Winters that could kill in minutes if you made one mistake. The academy was brutal, but it was predictable, and predictable, Hana had learned, was manageable. She closed her eyes and slept deeply, dreaming of mountains and snow, and the sound of her squad's laughter as they survived another impossible day. Week 10 marked the transition from physical training to tactical studies. The recruits who'd survived the gauntlet sat in lecture halls instead of running courses, learning strategy, xenobiology, and Alliance military doctrine. It should have been a relief after weeks of brutal physical challenges. For Hana, it was harder. The lectures required sitting still for hours, paying attention to abstract concepts instead of concrete physical tasks, memorizing scenarios that might never happen, rather than responding to immediate threats. She found herself restless, tapping her foot, rolling her shoulders to release tension. You look uncomfortable, Mora whispered during a 3-hour lecture on Alliance fleet formations. Just not used to sitting this long. But this is easier than running 50 kilometers. Hana shook her head slightly. Different kind of difficult. Physical pain is simple. You feel it, you push through it, you finish. This requires a different type of endurance. That evening, Commandant Thelrix called an emergency meeting. Not just Academy staff, but Alliance Council members via hologram. Hana wasn't invited, but she heard about it from Medical Officer Suji. They're talking about you, Suji said, finding Hana in the training yard where she was doing pull-ups to work off her restlessness. About Earth, about whether we should be here. Because I set a record? Because your performance forced them to actually investigate Earth. Suji sat on a bench looking tired. They finally did a proper environmental survey. What they found scared them. Hana dropped from the bar. What did they find? The truth. That Earth isn't just a high-gravity world. It's classified as a Class 12 death world. Do you know what that means? Vex mentioned it once. It means Earth is in the highest category of hostile environments. The kind of world that shouldn't support complex life, much less civilization. Suji pulled up a display on her datapad. Look at this. Earth's weather variance is off the scale. Temperature swings of 80 degrees Celsius between seasons in some regions. Hurricanes, typhoons, tornadoes. Earthquakes along major fault lines. Volcanic activity, tsunamis, that's just weather. No, Hana, that's not just weather. Most Alliance worlds have stable climates. Temperature variations of maybe 10 degrees across a year. Predictable seasons. Geological stability? Earth is chaos. Suji's voice was intense now. And then there's the biology. Earth has more diseases, parasites, and predators than any world in the Alliance. Things that actively hunt humans. Things that can kill in seconds. We have vaccines, defenses. You have vaccines because you needed them to survive. Most species never developed disease resistance like humans have because they didn't need to. Their worlds were safe. Hana sat down next to Suji. Why are you telling me this? Because the Council is meeting right now to decide if humans should be banned from Alliance military service. They're arguing that Death World species are too unpredictable, too dangerous, that Earth has made you all into something that doesn't fit their idea of civilized behavior. That's ridiculous, is it? You broke an academy record, then cracked your neck like you were bored. You treat challenges that break other species as warm-up exercises. You smile when things get difficult. From their perspective, you're either superhuman or insane. Before Hana could respond, an announcement came over the station's communication system. Recruit Kim. Report to Council Chamber 7 immediately. The chamber was massive, designed to hold representatives from hundreds of worlds. Currently, it held about 30 counselors either in person or via hologram. Commandant Thelrick stood at the center, and he gestured for Hana to join him. Recruit Kim, said a Velkari counselor, her image flickering in holographic blue. We've been reviewing your performance and Earth's environmental data. We have questions. Yes, counselor. Is it true that Earth experiences temperature extremes from -50 to +50 Celsius? In some regions, yes. Where I'm from, it ranges from -30 in winter to 40 in summer. Murmurs spread through the chamber. A crystalline being spoke next. And you consider this normal? It's what I grew up with, counselor. We have seasons. They change. We adapt. Adapt. The word seemed to disturb them. Earth's records indicate thousands of deaths annually from natural disasters. Earthquakes, storms, floods. Why do humans continue to inhabit such dangerous regions? Hana thought about Seoul, built in an earthquake zone. About coastal cities that face typhoons every year. About people who lived near volcanoes and on fault lines. Because that's where our homes are. Where our families are. We don't abandon places just because they're dangerous. We learn to live with the danger. That's not rational, said a Threxian counselor, massive and imposing even in hologram form. Maybe not, but it's human. Hana felt her voice growing stronger. Counselors, I've been at this academy for 10 weeks. I've seen recruits from 40 species. Every one of them is braver than they think, stronger than they knew. They've survived challenges that seemed impossible. But most of them came from worlds that are stable, predictable, safe. Earth didn't give us that luxury. So you admit Earth is unsuitable for civilized development? The Velkari counselor pounced on the statement. No, counselor. I'm saying Earth forced us to develop differently. You asked how I set an academy record. It's not because I'm stronger than other recruits. It's because Earth taught me that there's no quit button in nature. When winter comes, you can't negotiate with it. When an earthquake hits, you can't bargain. You survive or you don't. So we learned to survive everything. Thelrick stepped forward. If I may, counselors, I've been studying the human recruits who failed before Kim. Every one of them had the physical capability to succeed. What they lacked was the psychological framework. Earth's chaos doesn't prepare you for military structure. It's too random, too reactive. Kim succeeded because she had military training before arriving. She'd already learned to channel Earth's survival lessons into disciplined behavior. So other humans could succeed with proper preparation? Asked a new voice, an Anthian counselor with wise old eyes. I believe so, counselor, Thelrick said. But we'd need to recruit from Earth's military forces, not from civilians. The military provides the structure that bridges Earth's chaos with Alliance expectations. The Velkari counselor wasn't satisfied. This still doesn't address the fundamental concern. Deathworld species are unpredictable. How do we know humans won't become aggressive or unstable under pressure? Hana felt anger flash through her, but she controlled it. That was the marine training, the discipline Thelrick had mentioned. Counselor, with respect, you've just described why humans should be in your military, not kept out of it. We're used to pressure. We're used to things going wrong. We don't break when plans fail because Earth never had plans. It just threw chaos at us and we learned to improvise. Improvisation isn't discipline. It's adaptive discipline. The ability to maintain structure in the absence of order. Isn't that what you need in special operations? In situations where nothing goes as planned? Silence fell over the chamber. The counselors looked at each other, communicating in ways Hana couldn't follow. Finally, the Anthian counselor spoke. Recruit Kim, why did you volunteer for this program? You knew 47 humans had failed. Why risk it? Hana thought about her answer carefully. Because someone had to succeed eventually. Because Earth didn't raise quitters. And because I wanted to prove that humans belong among the stars. Not despite being from Earth, but because of it. Our world is harsh, yes, but it made us adaptable, resilient, and capable of surviving anything. Those seem like valuable traits for an alliance military. The Anthian counselor's expression might have been a smile. Indeed they do. He turned to the others. I move that we approve continued human recruitment, with the modification that candidates must have prior military experience. Further, I propose we explore specialized roles for human recruits in operations requiring extreme environmental adaptation. Seconded, said Thelrix immediately. The vote was close, but it passed, 20 votes for, 10 against. Earth's military recruitment would continue. As the council dismissed, Thelrix approached Hana. You handled that well. Better than most career diplomats. Thank you, Commandant. Don't thank me yet. You're now the face of human capability in the Alliance. Every human who comes after you will be measured against your standard. That's a heavy burden. Earth taught me to carry heavy things, sir. Thelrix made a sound that might have been laughter. So it did. Dismissed, Kim. Get back to your studies. Hana left the chamber and found Mora, Kira, and a dozen other recruits waiting in the corridor. They'd clearly been listening somehow. You did it, Mora said, her antennae vibrating with excitement. You changed Alliance policy. I just answered questions. No, Kira said, her forearms crossed in a gesture of respect. You showed them what Earth means, what humans are. Many of us came from safe worlds, easy worlds. We thought that made us civilized and you primitive. But you've shown us that surviving chaos requires more sophistication than living in comfort. That night, as Hana tried to focus on her tactical studies, she received a message from Ambassador Minho Park. His face appeared on her personal display, smiling broadly. Hana, I just heard. The council approved continued recruitment. Do you know what this means? More humans at the academy, sir. More humans everywhere.